Alright, well, I got my gun, so I'm good. Got my perforator. I'm ready to get out of here. Sooner the better. I really like the Pitt DLC. It's got a certain atmosphere to it. Kind of dank and dreary and hopeless and stuff. They did a real good job of getting that across. But, you know, now that I have my gun, I've got places to go in the wasteland and people to see and shoot in the face and all that good stuff. All right. There's some exploring we could do around here. This area that I'm in, where it said downtown, this is actually above, like, Medea's house and the entrance to the mill and stuff. You can basically come back through and walk around all these rafters and stuff. This is where a lot of the merchants are at. You actually find dealers here. I think there's even a doctor. I wouldn't mind finding the doctor and getting rid of this nasty addiction I have. Not a real big deal. I can always take care of that when I get home, but, whatever. Even if I don't find the doctor, I still want to loot all the ammo boxes and whatever else I can get my hands on. I think this might be the clinic. I'm not sure. I don't see anyone around, though. Wonder where they might be. Maybe they only pop up after you talk to Ashur? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Just exploring a bit for the sake of exploring and see what I can loot. Look on this computer, and it's looks like it's from pre-war days where they had first world problems, worrying about the aesthetics of a bridge on the Pitt skyline and stuff. Yeah, those types of things don't really matter anymore these days. Mining the bridge to keep super mutants and raiders out seems more important than worrying about what it looks like. Yeah. Alright, well, I see these meds. Yeah, I do believe this would be the doctor. Or whatever slaver acts as the doctor here or something. I don't know. It's been a while. I don't really remember. But, that's fine. I'll just take the free meds and any other ammo and stuff that I can run away with. And we'll just take a quick look through, see what we can pilfer, and then we'll go talk to Ashur. And, get all this finished. I'm ready to get out of here. I love this DLC. I love the dreary, hopeless kind of feel where everything's just dark and just gray and it's just, you know, it's depressing basically. But it really has that post-apocalyptic feel. I mean, they did a good job with it.
Well, look at this. One of the scabs earned his wings. Welcome to the grill. Whatever you need, we got. Assuming that what you need is to get shit-faced drunk. Ha! Oh, good. And here I thought you were planning to stay sober.
Actually, I'll take a few caps if you want to donate them. Some of this junk. Most of what I have here is unique items that I'm keeping. My little collection at home, so I won't be getting rid of most of this.
Don't get yourself killed. That doesn't do me any good at all.
Look at their menu. Beer, more beer. No messing around. Beer, psycho, and more beer.
You want something, scab?
Alright, so the whole area above the slave area is essentially where the raiders hang out and run their business and stash all the good stuff, apparently. I'm sure I'll miss some things here, but if I can grab a few extra ammo boxes, I'll be happy. But it actually is kind of a maze up here. Pretty cool. Think about it.
Bingo?
Yeah, I can't talk to him here. I think you can talk to him after you talk to Ashur. I think you have to kind of make a decision on who you're going to sign with first. Or something, I don't know. Yeah, see, that's the area we first entered in when we got here. You know, these slavers sitting there, you know, abusing the slaves and this and that. Yeah, I understand you're keeping them working and all that, but, you know, a little over the top. It's one thing to have to be cruel to others. It's another thing to enjoy it. I mean, I don't know. course, then, you know, in favor of Ashur's side of the argument, there's not a whole lot to choose from. You know, if you got to rebuild, well, you got to rebuild. Importing slaves from elsewhere in the wasteland, on one hand, are they safer here? For the time being, probably not. In the future, possibly. This community turns out
What are you looking at?
the way he hopes and the way it can, then honestly, yeah, this would be one of the safest places in the wasteland. Of course, then all this effort and all this work and all this misery to put the walls up and, you know, keep the mill going and all that, and then
Well, now,
the Enclave hears about it and come through and take everything over.
Well, I hope you have some money, newbie. You'd best not be wasting my time, newbie.
Okay, well, I'll buy any ammo she's got. Interesting, she's a merchant. She's available. Here. Wonder where everyone else was at. I don't know. It's possible whoever's supposed to be the doctor here is dead through some random incident with the slave or something, or who knows. Fell off a walkway or something. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. If you're into XP, one of the best sources of XP is just to simply just kill everybody. Kill everybody in the pit, essentially.
Anytime you have some cash, that is.
You have to make a decision one way or another. Once you've done that, you can kill off all the slaves and then attack the raiders too, and this and that and blah blah blah. I'm not worried about XP whatsoever, but on the other hand, it is kind of fun to just come through here and just literally just kill all the slavers. Even if you're going to side with Ashur, kill the slavers anyway. I think you can. Actually, I think you can kill off a bunch of the raiders and stuff. Ashur doesn't really value them any more than the slaves, I don't think. Actually, he values the slaves more, but someone has to do the work and someone has to keep the workers in line. And it's a brutal, harsh reality, but yeah. Alright, so we got all these freebies. Take any assault rifles to repair my perforator and my infiltrators. Seeing as the infiltrator is kind of a mix between an assault rifle and an SMG, kinda, you know? It's basically a stockless assault rifle, I guess you could say. It'd be cool if you could repair them with SMGs or assault rifles. That would be awesome. I guess if you had something like the jury rig perk from New Vegas, I think that's what it was called. I guess you could do something like that. Got a huge thunderstorm going on outside. I'm here in Texas, and the rain is just not going to let up. Other parts of the country can't get rain at all, and we're getting it. Honestly, it just seems like every day for months now. Record levels, like destroying people's shit type of rain.
Awfully twitchy.
Inches an hour type of stuff. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, look! Another worker who thinks they can address their betters. I'm sure everyone's impressed that you killed a pig in the hole. Don't think that makes you an equal. I'm sure you think so. The delusion of equality is part of what makes your kind so pitiful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're a real prize. I gotcha. Guess there's a little of everything amongst these people. Actually, a few of the slavers aren't so bad. But then you have a piece of work like that, and I mean that's all it takes is a few of them to just make the whole bunch even more cruel and heartless than they otherwise would be. Whatever. Alright, so here we go. Here's Ashur's palace, whatever. I guess this would be a... I've never been to Pittsburgh myself, personally, but I guess this would be a monument in their city. This building would be recognizable. think these slavers are calling me twitchy because I'm suffering from some kind of withdrawals. In Oblivion, they used to do that. I guess Skyrim too. If you were sick, somebody would ask you, you know, are you feeling all right? You know, stuff like that. I think it's that type of thing. People see me with the jitters. Okay, freeze problems, bug problems. Ashur tends to fall into a conversation loop here, and sometimes the main quest will get locked up right here. I think like he's supposed to go to an intercom, but he doesn't or something. Anyway.
I'll be with you right after I maintain some order and dispense a little justice.
I found a fix for that, is while he's sitting here talking to this raider about the possible slave rebellion coming up. As soon as their conversation ends, save. And if it bugs, you can reload right there. And it should unbug itself.
Workers.
What?
We call them workers. Helps with morale. Reminds them that they might earn their freedom someday.
Whatever we call them, they've been gathering makeshift weapons.
All right, all right. Put your guards on alert. Tell them to be on the lookout for anyone loitering too long downtown. And keep a watch on Medea at all times. Anything big happens, it's bound to go through her. Now, I've got a very important meeting with our new friend. So if anything big comes up, you use the intercom.
Yes, sir.
Okay, break's over. Nice work in the hole, new blood. Knew you couldn't be one of our normal workers. So that begs the question, who are you? And what are you doing in my city? I understand. We've all got a past. And damn few of us have reason to be proud of it. That's all behind you now. In the pit, you'll be part of a growing army. Thriving industry, and maybe even witness to a cure for radiation. But we aren't perfect, and sometimes the past comes back to haunt us. Tell me, do you know a man named Wernher? Ever since the city was scourged, we've done what everyone does. Whatever's necessary to survive. I know my city seems barbaric to you, but it's the only way we can carve out a home in this hellhole, and it's kept these people alive. But that's enough stalling for time. So do you know Wernher? I appreciate your honesty. It's a rare virtue in this age. Wernher was my lieutenant until he betrayed me and escaped justice. I know him. He brought you here to steal something very dear to the city. Do you intend to follow through with his plan? Feel free to be honest. Please, don't be intimidated by the turret behind you. Easy enough. You could say no because he lied to you. My discovery is a miracle, but it isn't the type that sets slaves free. Now, it would do a lot more good if you were to...
Lord Ashur,
don't let
the
me
slaves
keep
are
you.
rioting, and someone's armed
Don't let me keep
We
you.
need you out here, and fast.
Don't let... Damn it, I'm on my way.
Alright, that don't let me keep you. Sometimes he gets stuck just standing there saying that, and he just never stops, and his quest's just screwed right there. But, I don't blame him threatening me with the turret, because I'll tell you what, the cure is his child, okay? That's how a parent's supposed to act when you're thinking about kidnapping their kid. Yeah, totally down with that. And if you really want the real deal about what's in Ashur's head and what his plans are for the pit, you just get in here. Also, you get a few free stealth boys, too, while we're at it. But I'm going to go ahead and listen through these tapes, and you'll get an idea where Ashur's coming from and the brutal necessity of doing this so that they could actually make the pit, you know, and well, a community where people could actually live. This is kind of the price you pay. But anyway, here's all the tapes here. This is why I say that, yeah, I would not side with Werner.
As word of a new settlement got out, the city started growing and fast. When raiders... Test 1, 2. Looks like this thing is on. Marie, if you're there. This is your father speaking. Ishmael Ashur. Sometimes called Lord of the Pit. Now I hope you're hearing this 10 years from now. Sitting on my knees safe and sound. Right about now, I bet I'm looking pretty silly. But things don't always work out the way we'd like. There are a lot of risks, including what your mother would do if she heard me talking like this. And I'm not about to risk leaving you alone without knowing where you came from. These tapes are for you, so you can know who your father really was. Marie, the first thing you need to know is that I wasn't always the Lord of the Pit. Long before I was a king, I was a scholar and a soldier. In fact, I was in the Brotherhood of Steel. You've probably heard about them, but you may not have heard what we did to the city. The Scourge. When we came here, the Pit was just a breeding ground for trogs, cannibals, and worse. Commander had us torch the place and take what we could. The Pit had useful technology, but it was suicide to stay here. So when an explosion left me buried in the mill, my brothers were sure I was dead. I don't blame them for leaving. I probably would have. We thought nothing could live in the Pit. We were wrong. Marie, you know those fights in the mill's arena? Well, its first fight was when I woke up to someone pulling me out from a pile of rubble. At first, I thought it was my brothers pulling me to safety. Instead, it was a scavenger trying to steal my armor. She didn't get it. But I learned she had a whole family of scavengers. They'd make raids into the city for gear from the mill, and that gave me an idea. This was the only working steel mill we'd ever seen. In a world of leftovers, it was a chance to build again, and that was worth any price. The scavengers saw me as a god, so along with my Brotherhood know-how, it was easy to set up the basics. We started to build a city. As word of a new settlement got out, the city started growing and fast. When raiders attacked, I'd kill the leader and recruit the rest. I had to. The city's disease meant we couldn't have children, so recruiting was the only way to grow. And as we grew, the mill needed more workers. And yes, that meant recruiting workers by force. I'm not proud of it, but it's the only way to keep the city supplied and armed. But it was always a temporary solution, until our best scientists found a way to cure the city's epidemic. Sandra and I worked on it day and night. And after one particularly late night of work, we were blessed with a cure. It's the cure inside you, Marie. Even now, we're doing everything we can to figure out how to share your gift with the city, while keeping you safe, of course. So by the time you're old enough to hear this, you'll already be a hero. Congratulations, Marie. You've already saved us all. I knew you would.
Okay, so these tapes are left behind by Ashur for his child should, she grow up later. Kind of like the tapes left for us from our dad in the vault. Anyway, but, okay, what we find here is that, it's the harsh reality of it. No. Do I agree with slavery? No. It's really not even the issue. I don't agree with nuclear war either, but that happened, all right? And so you have the situation. How do you build?
I wasn't expecting Ashur to let you into the lab. I'm Sandra, and if I know my husband, he's already made you an offer to join us, right? So you're here to see our little miracle, aren't you? This is my daughter Marie. She can be a handful, but my little angel is going to save the city. Don't be silly. It's the best of both worlds. As a mother, I love that I can spend all day with my daughter. And as a scientist, it's great to work on something that will benefit the city. Well, this is a nice surprise. Apparently you and Ashur are the only other people who know anything about science in this place. Yes, it seems that our daughter was born with a naturally acquired immunity to any form of mutation. It's nothing short of a miracle, honestly. I'm still trying to figure out why, but she may just hold the key to stopping the Pitt's Trog problem. Hell, maybe other types of mutations too. Oh no, these tests are perfectly safe. In fact, between the crib and her uncanny health, she's probably the safest child in the world. Ashur and I would never risk her health. And if that means it takes longer to develop a full cure, then, well, everyone else can wait. You're a dear, but things are well in hand here. If you really want to help, you should probably go deal with whatever had Ashur rushing off in such a hurry. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to take care of one last test before Marie's nap time.
Okay, well, all right. So you have these slaves. Now, the original slaves, there's nothing Ashur could do to them worse than what they were doing to each other, right? He probably saved them from themselves. The new slaves that have been brought in from elsewhere and stuff, that's the hard pill to swallow, because these people don't really care about the Pit. Although, I would say they'd almost be safer here than elsewhere, you know, amongst the rad scorpions and super mutants and raiders and what have you. But not so much, because the raiders and slavers here seem to be pretty abusive, you know? It's one thing when you're forcing someone into indentured servitude or slavery. It's another thing to, you know, beat them and be cruel and, you know, go over and above and beyond. It has nothing to do with them being a slave or not. It has to do with you being an asshole, kind of, you know, that type of thing. And so, and these slavers or raiders, at some point, Ashur's going to have to accept the reality. He's going to have to raise some other kind of force to subdue and eliminate these slavers and raiders once they're not needed anymore. But that's just another harsh reality. Anyway, what I was going to say before is, no, I don't agree with slavery, but I don't agree with nuclear war either. That happened. How do you carve a community? How do you save people from themselves? Because without Ashur's guidance, honestly, they were eating and killing one another. Okay, so, I mean, there you have it. Now, I think his whole vision, and this is a justified one, is that at some point, if this does become something of a healthy, thriving community, because of the birth of this one child, if there could be some kind of immunity to the radiation that actually affects the rest of the world, then this could be one of the safest harbors, right? And of course, you know, this would be a place of interest for other people with bad intentions to come and raid and, you know, destroy it and take it over and take whatever it's got, because, well, that's just how people are. And, you know, if it's strong enough to defend itself from all that, then, I mean, you know, that would be a good thing. Would the price be worth it? For people who would likely die elsewhere anyway. Might as well die working in the Pit. I hate to say it like that. You know, so we're talking about people here, but it's the same token. I mean, there's some truth to it. Do you pay a price and eventually earn an actual kind of freedom, you know, and an actual good place to be? What kind of government do you set up? How do you run that place? How do you keep it from destroying itself later on? Well, those are all problems that you're faced with when you build anything. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, it's, like I say, on the surface it appears to be a real moral dilemma. Under the surface, when you really look at it, what they're doing with this child in the face of people who mean it harm, mainly Werner. What's Werner going to do? Take this baby, extract whatever he can out of it, and then try to take it off in the wasteland and market it? You know, as a scum, traitor. I mean, yeah, he's as bad, if not worse, than a lot of these slavers here. He just calls himself siding with the slaves for the time being. And Medea's just lost. She just wants an end to her misery, and she just wants to be comfortable in her last days. Okay, I mean, I get it. But, I don't know. Bad situation overall. But I'll tell you what, once the bombs fell, well, it made shit like this happen. You know? I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, notice I'm getting out of here without killing any slaves. Or trying to, anyway. I may be pushed into a corner and have to I guess, defend myself. I have one chasing me with an auto axe right here, but for morality's sake, no, I'm actually not trying to come through here and be bad to anybody. Trying to get through with this. Anyway, stealth boys come in handy. Alright, so we get out here. And basically what I need to do is go find out where Werner's at. Right? And basically you have the choice. You know, you side with Werner, you side with Ashur. That's the bottom line. And one is free the slaves so that they can drop the walls down and get destroyed anyway. Or help Ashur take care of their child, which is their right because, you know, it's their kid. And find the best means possible and the safest environment possible to come up with a working cure that could benefit everybody in the long term. In other words, do you kill the golden goose for her eggs and find out you don't get any eggs anyway? Or do you nurture the golden goose and eventually get your golden eggs?
I suppose you
That's really
signed
what it
on
boils
with
down to.
Ashur and his kind, did you? Huh, you're not the first to win their freedom and forget where they came from. Of course I knew you, dolt. I also know it's the only chance we had of finding a cure and ransoming our freedom. If they ever find a cure, do you think they'll share it with us? Of course not. Why waste medicine on people you'll just work to death anyway?
That's not the way
I'm
Ashur
afraid
put
that
it.
threat doesn't work so well on an old slave. You'll just have to kill me. Just to find one man? You wouldn't dare. Damn it! Damn it, you monster! Werner's in the steel yard. Here, take this damn message, hunt him down, whatever. Just leave my people alone, you bastard!
Uh-huh. I'm the bastard, huh? You were gonna kidnap a baby, squeeze it dry for any quick fix, right? Kill the guards, and you know what their plan was? Just FYI, was to turn off all the lights so that the Trogs come out from underground and attack the Raiders and everyone else. Like the Trogs are going to come out and just attack the Raiders? No. They're going to come out and pretty much kill everybody. The same Trogs who had been kept at bay by Ashur's men, the pieces of shit that they are, they did at least serve their purpose. That's their plan. So it's so short-sighted and self-destructive and just, bottom line, just stupid that, yeah. And they think yeah, there wasn't any justification for kidnapping anyway. You know, none of their lives are worth that baby, regardless. And if that sounds harsh, oh well. It is what it is. And looking at Ashur's wife, she had some semblance of humanity. And I'm wondering if that's the future of the pit. I'd take that over the lives of these slaves regardless. And if that sounds harsh, well, yeah, it's a harsh world that they live in here. And when it comes to making decisions, you say, you know, the greater good type thing or whatever. I would like to undo the abuse that the slaves suffer. The cruelty, like, you know, put some safety measures in place. If you want your workers to flourish, help them. Or don't abuse them. But that's just the human nature of these slavers and raiders. Which, you know, when it comes to employees, I don't think Ashur has a whole lot to choose from. There's not like this cream of the crop to pick from, this community to promote your employees from out here in the wasteland, you know what I mean? He's working with, well, what he's got. People to work the mill and people to keep the workers in line. I mean, yeah, that's a line that's not really going to easily be drawn there. But then again, you know, I'd say to Medea, okay, so you get this baby, you kill it in the process of extracting your stuff, and it's possible they might be able to sort of take care of the baby as an object, not as a person, okay? I look at Ashur and his wife taking care of their child with love and a hope for the future of the pit. I look at these slaves looking for a quick fix at the expense of this object that just happens to be a child. Know what I'm saying? And that in and of itself is almost as bad, if not worse, than anything these slavers are doing. And that's just the way I'm seeing that, so.
You ain't welcome.
Okay, I'm going to have to kill a slave here.
It's gonna wow.
Sorry, dude. Okay, now, dealing with Werner, we're just going to go ahead and make this clean and simple. He's a liar and a snake anyway. What he was going to do to this child, we'll see. We'll see his little workshop for their baby in here. Yeah. I don't feel bad about that. I know I'm doing the right thing here, regardless of what anybody says. Let's, I think medding up right here real quick. He's a real bastard with his 44 Magnum. He can probably 2 or 3 shot me. Maybe not if I was wearing, you know, heavy armor gear type thing, but probably 2 or 3 shot me as it is. So, little Med-X, little Psycho. Go ahead and do some work on this piece of crap.
I've got everything ready, and there are plenty of tests to run, so hurry up and put the Wait, where's the cure? Did you lose it? Where is that little bastard?
That's how you're gonna treat the baby, huh? I'm gonna enjoy killing this piece of shit.
Who fucking who? You don't think bringing those bastards down is worth getting your hands dirty? No, I guess you're okay with torturing, slaving scum like that, just so long as you don't have to make a decision, huh?
I made the right decision, bitch. I'm not even gonna let him out.
You're just gonna be their tool right up to the bloody end, aren't you? Bye-bye, tool.
Oh, I got a tool, alright. Let me show you where I'm gonna stick it.
Get down! Get down!
Bitch. You're worse than any of those slavers. Bringing them down, huh? Bringing them down brings the whole city down. And all of you along with it. Idiot. He didn't care about that. He probably was going to leave the city as soon as he got this quote-unquote cure. Make up a few quick shots for the slaves, leave them to their own, to eventually be run over by whatever the wasteland has to offer, and then run off with this cure thing and start peddling it. Or something. Yeah, I didn't care what his plan was. The world's a better place now. As bad as the world is, it's at least a little bit better, with him not in it. Anyway, here's going to be their little workshop where they were going to extract the cure. Like that. Isn't that some shit? Okay. So, anyway. Now I can walk out of here knowing I did the absolute right thing. 100% moral choice approved by the heavens, so to speak. All right. Sorry about the current generation of slaves and what they have to suffer at the hands of the raiders and slavers, which they'd be suffering out in the wasteland at the hands of raiders and slavers and mutants and scorpions and what have you. Anyway. Yeah, basically what Wernher has you do if you side with him is he has you go through this long drawn-out thing through this manhole down at the back of the trains here, and you basically will turn off a power switch. It turns out the lights and the trogs all come out and run over the city. Slaver and slave alike, of course, but and then what are they left with? A trog-infested city without anyone to protect them. Honestly, that's what they wind up with. Really? Alright. If you just have to have it. Notice I'm not getting bad karma here either.
Is someone there?
No. Bitch. Take that. Alright. Don't start none, there won't be none. As they say. Alright, hopefully nobody else wants any of this on my way out. Alright, so where to go from here? I dealt with Werner. Actually, I think I need to go report back to I could have done that through the back of the mill. You know what? It doesn't really matter. There's actually a quick way through here now. All these gates and things should be open now, so... And there's Millie. I could never find Wild Bill for her because he was, well, glitched through the ground. I don't know how I can tell Millie that, so we'll just leave her alone. Basically, this is a shortcut door to Uptown right up here. And also to the rest of the walkways where all the merchants and stuff are. Alright, now the slaves should still be kind of rebelling, but hopefully they're keeping each other busy. And this will probably weed out the workers who aren't going to work. And maybe some of the worst of the raiders, too. So while they're insulting and shooting at one another, I think I'll just slide on into the back door here. This right here, if I remember right, leads to, I think they're called abandoned apartments or ruined apartments or something like that. Anyway, it's a Trog-infested thing. I don't remember there being even any skill books in there. In fact, I don't recall a single skill book in this whole DLC. I don't think there is. I'm trying to remember if they included any skill books in Operation Anchorage. Not exactly. There's some perks and stuff you got from that, but let me think. How about the one where you take the riverboat or the steamboat to that resort area? Maybe. Seems like there might be, because that's like a huge DLC. That island they take you to or whatever. I mean, you got the whole resort area, then you got the marsh where all the inbred people are, then you got the old military bases and the Chinese spy bases and stuff.
And I wasn't disappointed. Werner's been stopped. The workers are returning to their rightful place. The Pitt has a bright future ahead of it, and so do you. Now that Marie's back, we have a chance at curing the disease that's been ravaging the Pitt since the bombs. Without it killing our kids, we can grow like a real city. No more bringing in slaves. No more forced labor. Things can get better. It's taken me a lot of work to rebuild this city. With your help, it's finally going to have a chance. Right now, nothing. Until we can reproduce a treatment from Marie, they'll have to keep working. Otherwise, this city falls apart. But once we do have a cure, things will be different. We won't need to kidnap people for our city. We'll be able to grow naturally. Until then, this is the way it has to be. It's just what has to be done.
I agree.
You kept the city in one piece and put a stop to Werner's plans. Yeah, I guess you've earned one. As a full citizen of the Pitt, you'll have full access to the ammo press in the mill. It's how I keep my soldiers well armed. So make good use of it. And I think Sandra's made some progress with the cure. So here's a little something to help with radiation. That's up to you. We'll keep working on the cure and keep the city running. You're free to come and go as you like. Of course, you can help out at the mill by collecting metal from the steel yard. It helped lighten the load on the workers. And if you want to work on Sandra's good side, you can always bring her toys for Marie. It's a little thing, but it'd make a difference. Not in the slightest. During the Scourge, we looted the pit and left the rest of it to rot. I was just a dumb convert who got stuck here afterwards. See, beneath it all, the Brotherhood's just lazy. It's easier to loot a dying city than to work to bring it back to life. So that's what they did. They're so obsessed with the technology of the past, they don't care what needs to be done for today and tomorrow. It takes real hard work to rebuild and run a city. But there isn't a machine to do it for them, so the Brotherhood isn't interested. Good riddance. My little Marie is the very picture of health. And eventually, she'll make it possible for a new generation of healthy babies in the Pit. You know, I always wanted to make the Pit a strong city. But that was because I wanted to make my mark on the world. But when Marie was born, that changed. Now she's my reason to make the Pit succeed. Because she's depending on it. It's just something a parent has to do for their child. You understand? You're always welcome in the Pit.
Alright, there we go. You can say at least it has a chance now. And there could be a lot worse people leading it in the wasteland these days. I don't know about you guys who really actually love this DLC, like I do. Well, mainly for the gun, if nothing else. But I do like the story. I like the at least the illusion of a moral dilemma. I like just the whole feel of this place. It does get depressing, but it's almost as rewarding to leave as it is to get here. You get here and it's kind of like a slap in the face and just how dreary it is, and then you leave, and going back to the wasteland is almost like a breath of fresh air. But it's cool that they're able to get across those type of feels. Anyway, I hope there's a continuation of this in Fallout 4, which should take place just a couple years after this, if I'm not mistaken.
Such a sweet face.
I think Fallout 4 is essentially going to be like 3 years after the events here. In fact, I'm hoping there may even be some word or reference to, your hero in Fallout 3. Your lone wanderer, or whatever, your wasteland, whatever your title is.
Just fucking die.
Yeah, see, but then you got assholes like that, and that's unnecessary too. I don't know, man. Bad situation, but at least they're living for something here, sort of, for the time being. What's that phrase? It'll be greater later, I guess from surviving this whole ordeal, we've essentially got an extra, 10% damage resistance? Like 20% radiation resistance between that shot and surviving the pit fights. I think radiation resistance is now like, 20 or 30% higher or something. It's not really that big a deal anyway. There's really no downside to getting radiated unless you get irradiated to the point that you're dead.
The capital wasteland. Ronto? Where's home? Oh, no reason. Just asking. I haven't seen you before, that's all. Never mind then.
I have a sneaky suspicion that ghoulification was supposed to be part of the original game plan in Fallout 3, and I'll give you 2 reasons. One is Three Dog makes mention of it in the on the radio. You can kind of blow that off and saying, well, it's because there's ghouls in the wasteland, obviously from radiation, but it does leave the possibility that one could become ghoulified, right? And then you have the doctor in Underworld who's looking for a cure for ghoulification. And I always wondered if maybe a DLC was planned where you could actually become ghoulified and you actually had to cure yourself of it and maybe go help this doctor collect something from some place, some science lab he heard about in some area that it sends you, like, Rondo or something. Maybe one of the places they mention in the game or something like that. You know what I mean? I always kind of wondered if maybe they wouldn't throw that into maybe Fallout 4 also. Is that, especially considering it takes place in roughly, the same time frame, not too much after these events here on the calendar, at least as far as I know, that maybe you could become ghoulified, and that finding the cure would be like finding the cure for vampirism in Oblivion. Whereas there's this kind of long, drawn-out thing where you go through all these adventures and trials and stuff, and may find out that you maybe just want to stay a ghoul or something. I mean, how cool would that be? But I mean, you'd have to introduce so much stuff into the game to cater to that particular playstyle, being a ghoul. I don't know. I don't know if it's even doable. But I was thinking maybe it was originally in the works, because like I say, that doctor in Underworld, and then, Three Dogs mention of it, that maybe they'd initially planned for you to be able to become ghoulified if you stayed irradiated too long, or if you suffered an amount of radiation over a period of time through the game. Like if you got advanced radiation poisoning like 15, 20 times at various points through the game, messing around Vault 87, messing around here in the pit, messing around wherever, there's a lot of radiation, swimming around in the river too long, that type of thing, that maybe you would actually become a ghoul, and it would be a new status, and you'd have to go get it cured. I mean, how cool would that be, And then once cured, you could never become a ghoul again, maybe. That type of thing. But that would have been an interesting element to throw in the game. And if you're a ghoul, you get like an automatic charisma of 1, but maybe your strength and your perception and, I don't know, your agility go up. Your melee damage goes way up. But you lose the ability to use guns or something. You'd have to... I mean, they could do some cool stuff with it. They could. It's a thought. Like I say, it may be asking for just more than they could handle, working that into the whole story and working that into the gameplay and stuff. But still a neat idea. I'm thinking maybe they had that in mind or something along those lines. Anyway, I hope whatever happens here in the pit carries over. I haven't heard anything about importing characters or anything in the works for doing that for Fallout 4. So I guess, because your decisions would make a difference. It would either be the slaves running the place or getting run over in this place once the Ashur and the Raiders go down. Or it'd be Ashur running this place and having some kind of cure and having some kind of benefit for the rest of the wasteland. You also have Oasis from Fallout 3 with the whole Herald thing and the ability to grow stuff. And I wonder if maybe the Institute could get a hold on that type of stuff and use it, modify it, and probably pervert it. You know how men do with science. But I wonder if that might carry over somewhere in the story. Because I think Herald or the tree or the whole Oasis thing carries over from, Fallout 1 or 2, right? I didn't play those, admittedly. I'm a huge fan of Fallout 3. But I'm somewhat of a newbie to the whole series. I've gotten Bethesda's take on it. Not the early Interplay take on Fallout. But I believe the whole Herald thing is a reference, a leftover from something from the early Fallouts. Like I say, I'm no lore aficionado either. I'm definitely no Professor Fallout. So, kind of lost on all that stuff. But I have heard reference. Anyway. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool if some of the stuff carried over. At least some mention of, your adventures in Fallout 3. Will you get wind of it? Maybe through the news. If Three Dog or something resembling Three Dog is going to make an appearance in Fallout 4, which rumors have it that he might. Then perhaps some news of events that you went through here. But like I say, certain decisions, like how you dealt with Canterbury Commons, what you did with the FEV virus. Of course, that's, spoiler alert, right? Looking forward later to the game. What you do here in the pit. Oh, geez. Maybe even whether you help the outcasts with Operation Anchorage or not, stuff like that. If I find out you could import all that kind of stuff, I would do a completionist playthrough, and just make all my decisions. Kind of go the old Mass Effect Dragon Age route with it, if they're going to do something like that. Anyway, I don't know. Or maybe there'll be an option. Maybe there'll be an app or something you can do online or something where you can go in and make some decisions and say, okay, like the Keep for Inquisition. That type of thing. Some simplified version of that. would be cool. Like I say, I don't know if they worked any of that into the game. They may just isolate Fallout 4 and Boston altogether and do nothing other than maybe just some random references. Who knows? All right. Well, that's it. Got the pit. We got our gun. All right. That's the big thing for me. Got to adventure a little bit, but very cool. Here was that one set of armor that I kind of liked, picked up. I probably won't be wearing this. Armor rating is about the same as the paint spike armor, though. Anyway, first order of business, go pick up our loyal companion. Got to go find dog meat. What's up, buddy? I hear you panting over there somewhere. Let's see where you at. You're stuck in the ground. Right on, dude. Said he waited so long his legs wore off. Alright, make a quick jog over to Megaton, put up all of our junk. I've got a million things to put in my locker. And then we'll see what kind of trouble we can go get into. I want to get the main story started. Better late than never, right? I mean, here we are, you know, halfway to the level cap, and we still haven't even really basically started the storyline, but that's fine. Beauty about these games is do what you want, where you want, when you want, right? And that includes going in whatever order. You can save the main story literally to the very end of the game and just do so much other stuff first. The main story will introduce, like, the Brotherhood of Steel, a lot of Enclave stuff, and once really get into it, once you really get to that point, the story's pretty quick. I mean, you're relatively close to the end. The main story in the base game, without any DLC or anything else, is relatively short. I mean, you can beeline through it. You really kind of can. Don't have to explore a whole lot of the map to do it. You'll wind up in a few spots throughout the map and this and that, but a lot of it just takes you to, you know. It's relatively short. It's as long as you want to make it. You know, there's tons of content in the game, but the story itself in the vanilla version was relatively short compared to the rest of the game. But with the Broken Steel DLC, it really added to it. That is one of the better DLCs that's come out pretty much for any game that I can think of. All right, well, we'll get into adventuring on the next one. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the pit. All right, if you want to subscribe, click that button up top. For the rest of this Let's Play, click the image in the middle. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.